Diddy's former bodyguard is claiming that Diddy knew about both Tupac and Biggie's murders before they happened. And the wildest part, he might have actually planned them. And yeah, I'm gonna show you the moment GeneDeal realized he said too much this time, and why his life might be in danger. And what's the latest update from Diddy's prison cell?
GeneDeal just said something he probably shouldn't have.
What's happening to him now is one of the greatest tragedies that we're gonna ever read about, bro. This is gonna be one of the greatest tragedies of hip-hop, along with Pac's death, along with Big's death.
Federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. They placed Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Listen, I know you've heard a million theories about who killed Tupac and Biggie. Everyone has an opinion, but this is different. GeneDeal wasn't just some random person watching from the sidelines. He was Diddy's bodyguard back in the 90s. He was literally standing there when Biggie got shot. He saw Diddy's strange behavior that night. He knows things nobody else knows.
Said it himself. He said, I don't know how to talk to women. I don't know how to talk to girls. You understand? I said, you don't have to know how to talk to nobody. You a millionaire. You got it. So he was jealous of Pac because Pac ain't had to do that. Pac had that aura, you know what I'm saying? And he probably knew how to communicate with women. And most women who he talked to that said stuff, said about it.
Now he's finally breaking his silence. And what he's revealing is insane. Before we dive into GeneDeal's bombshell claims, you need some context. GeneDeal wasn't just anyone. He was Diddy's bodyguard in the 90s and was there the night Biggie was shot. Back then, Tupac and Biggie were close, like brothers, until the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry exploded. By 1996, tensions were out of control. Tupac was shot in Las Vegas after a Mike Tyson fight and died 6 days later at just 25. Then, 6 months later, Biggie was killed in Los Angeles at only 24, dying almost instantly. Both cases went cold. No arrests, no real answers. Until now, GeneDeal is speaking out, connecting hidden dots, revealing private conversations, and exposing things investigators missed. And according to him, it all starts with one shocking truth. Diddy was deeply jealous of Tupac.
They was there to spy on Big. In the interim of him being there to spy on Big, Jimmy Henchman told him that they finna show Pac, teach Pac a lesson, because Pac had owed him some money. So that's why he was up in the studio and was coming to the studio. Pac owed him some money. Pac owed him some money. He was gonna work it off and get some money from doing a song with Lil Sean. And that's what that was about. But Pac was talking greasy to Jimmy Henchman, and Jimmy Henchman wasn't the type of dude that you talk greasy to, allegedly. Unless you're 50 Cent.
So Diddy knew what was going to happen to Pac.
He knew Pac was about to deal with. Yeah, he was there to see it. He was there to see it. He wasn't only there to see Big them. When Jimmy Henchman told him that, he was there to see what's going to happen to Pac. He was there for that. Because had he not been there for that, he would have went up there in the office. He would have went to the studio or the studio session with Big them. He would have went to that studio session with Big them. He knew what room Big them was in. He didn't do that. He was there to see what was going to happen to Pac after Jimmy told him. And that's factual.
Tupac had natural charisma that pulled people in. When he walked into a room, everyone felt it. Women were drawn to him without him even trying. He had presence, energy, and smooth confidence. Now compare that to Diddy. He had money, fame, and bad boy records, but according to GeneDeal, he didn't have Pac's natural charm. Gon says Diddy struggled to talk to women and lacked that magnetic personality. You could see the jealousy in his eyes whenever Tupac was around. Diddy wanted what Pac had, but no amount of money could buy it. And that jealousy mattered. Let's rewind to 1994, the night everything changed at Quad Studios in New York. Tupac was in the lobby when 3 men robbed and shot him 5 times. He survived, but it sparked the East Coast versus West Coast war. Later, the shooter, Isaac Dexter, confessed and said music executive Jimmy Henchman paid him $2,500 to do it. And that's where GeneDeal's story starts to get really spicy.
Kirk Burroughs, he also said that, he feels like, Diddy was behind Pac murder.
Yeah, if Diddy played a part in that stuff, like he said, Kirk know where the money came from. I'ma say this. They tried to, if you talk about the Vegas trip and the whole 9 yards. Kirk said that he paid for people to drive out to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? He said he paid for people to drive out of Vegas. I was heavily with Bad Boy at that time. I don't remember that part of it. You understand? I don't remember that part of it. But if Kirk knew and he was paying for people to drive out to Vegas in the whole 9 yards, it's hard to hide $1 million, brother. You ain't going to cash that in the check cashing place. You signing that over to somebody. I said 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 times again. Eric Von Zip showed me and my man Boondang, AKA my man Slick, a check for $1 million. We don't know, and everybody trying to say, lying, talking about half of it got paid, 500. I don't know. I know when I asked him about, we asked him, do we ask? No, we didn't ask him. I know when he showed us the check and he walked away after he showed us the check for the $1 million, you understand? I asked Boone, I said, yo, Boone, when did he get a record label? He said, you know how Zip is. I said, when did he get a Zip record label? Zip had a check for $1 million. He said he got it from Barry Hankerson and Jimmy Henchman for his record label, Black Ground Records. So now, if that's true, we know Jimmy Henchman and Puff was cool. You should be able to trace $1 million if that's the truth. If that's the truth, you should be able to trace that, where it came from. Why did he get it?
GeneDeal says Diddy was actually at Quad Studios the night Tupac was shot, and he knew what was coming. According to Gon, Jimmy Henchman made it clear he was going after Tupac, and Diddy heard everything. But instead of warning Pac or stopping it, Diddy stayed silent and let it happen. Think about that. Knowing someone is about to get shot and doing nothing, that's cold. Gon believes jealousy played a role. Diddy wanted what Tupac had, and when Pac was in the way, he didn't step in. That silence alone is disturbing. Now fast forward to 1996, when Tupac was killed in Las Vegas. This is where even more fingers point at Diddy. Kirk Burroughs, co-founder of Bad Boy Entertainment, later came forward with serious allegations about how Diddy really operated.
We lined up parallel to where the doors they have to come out. So if they come out right here, the car's right there. They're right there. So then Big is taking his time because you know his fibular bones and his thighs are broken or whatever like that. You know, they fractured or whatever. So it's taking them a long time to come out. So they get out, Big gets in the car, everybody get loaded up. I said, come on, let's go. We ready to go. Puff is running back and forth like, yo, he'll see a girl, he'll go grab a girl. He said, yo, Gene, remember her, she coming to the party tomorrow. I'm like, remember her? What the fuck is you talking about, bro? I never seen him act like this ever, because he don't act like that. Because even in New York City, once Puff get in the car, he'll leave his mama. We gone, we out. So Puff is like looking, and if you see the cameras, you see him running back and forth, looking and everything like that. So I said, Big man, what we standing around here for? He said, that's your man.
Kirk Burroughs believes Diddy played a role in Tupac's death, driven by the same jealousy we talked about earlier. By then, Tupac was unstoppable. All Eyes on Me was selling millions, and Pac was on top of the world. According to Kirk, Diddy couldn't stand it. Kirk also claims Diddy made a strange request that weekend. He wanted to rent cars to drive from New York to Las Vegas during the Mike Tyson fight, the same weekend Tupac was killed. Nobody drives 40 hours to Vegas unless they're moving something they don't want going through airport security. That raised a serious question. Did Diddy send people to Vegas? Then comes the money. Keefe D, who's been charged in Tupac's murder, said someone offered $1 million to kill Tupac and Suge Knight. Only Tupac died, so half the money allegedly went to Eric Zip Martin. GeneDeal says Zip once showed him a $1 million check and claimed it came from Jimmy Henchman. But Gene keeps asking the real question. If Jimmy paid, who paid Jimmy? Gene's belief is simple. Follow the money, and you'll find the truth. And according to him, that trail leads straight back to Diddy. And it only gets crazier when we reach the night Biggie was killed.
Parked on the side of the Peterson Museum. So when I said to Paul said we was ready to go, I said, all right, follow us. I tried to ride on the side of the car. Puff said, yo, Gene, what you doing? I said, I'm riding on the side of the car. I have my gun out. I'm on the side of the car. At the time, I'm 265. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the street 30. You know what I mean? So I was a little slimmer back then. So he says to me, Gene, if you don't get in this car, you ain't gonna never work for Bad Boy ever again. You gonna try to tell me how to do my job? He said, Gene, we don't need that look. We don't need that look. Get in the car. As I go to get in the car, this motherfucker reached down and let his seat all the way back. So now I gotta put my legs sideways. I'm like, yo, what is you doing? And so then Kenny said, you ready? He said, you ready. I said, Kenny, run the next 3 lights. Run the next 3 lights, Kenny. Kenny said, for what? I said, mother, run the next 3 lights, Kenny, or I'm gonna drive.
GeneDeal says that in the days before Biggie was killed, Diddy was acting strange, paranoid, jumpy, always looking over his shoulder. It wasn't normal caution. Gene believes Diddy knew something bad was coming. The night of the Soul Train Awards after-party, Diddy's behavior got even weirder. Looking back, Gene says it wasn't random. It was deliberate, like Diddy was setting something up. When everyone left the party, Gene tried to protect Biggie. He told Diddy he'd ride alongside Biggie's car with his gun ready, just in case anything happened.
Got past the light, and we got across the street. Tone, who was behind me, said, yo, somebody in the car pointing a gun at Big them. I goes to open the door. Fucking, next thing you know, you hear it say, pow, pop, 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 pop. Yeah, it's 5 or 6 cars, like, pop, 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 pop. Right? Fucking Kenny guns the car going forward. I said, Kenny, what the fuck is you doing? He said they shooting at Big. He said, we don't know who they shooting at. He then goes up the block, stops, and do this 3-point, something like that, U-turn, comes back, and as we coming back, we see the guy turning the corner from the corner. He was parked on the corner, because there's no way he could have got on the side unless his car was already parked there.
And here's where it gets disturbing. When Gene tried to ride next to Biggie's car to protect him, Diddy threatened him. He said if Gene didn't get in Diddy's car, he'd never work for Bad Boy again. Think about that. A bodyguard wants to protect your biggest artist, and you stop him. That night, Diddy also acted completely out of character. Normally, he left fast, but this time he stalled. He ran back and forth, talked to girls, asked random questions, and kept looking around nervously. Even his friends noticed something was wrong. Looking back, Gene believes Diddy was waiting for the shooter to get into position. He was timing it, and he made sure Gene wouldn't be there to protect Biggie. When they finally left the party at the Peterson Museum, Diddy forced Gene into his own car, which drove ahead of Biggie's. Gene had his gun, but from another car, he couldn't protect Biggie at all.
We stops right in the middle, right in front of Big's car. We stops. Puff jumps out the front seat and runs around there to Big's car. All that shit running around the block. I ran down the block and shit like that. That's bullshit. When we got in front of the car, he jumps out the car, ran over to Big's side of the car. So now I'm behind Puff and I'm looking down the block and everything like that. Those girls who was right there on the corner talking to Puff and them, they had, talking to Big and Lil C's and them. I don't see them. The street is clear. Tone said, Gene, come on, let's go. Me and Tone hops back in the car and we try to take after the guy. Tone is trying to floor it, but it had one of those government chips in there, the car. So every time we get close to 100, it go, go all the way back down. So we could see the guy at the top of the hill. Oh, it was a top. We see the guy up at the top where he had to make, when he made a right. When he made that right turn, when we got up to the top of the hill, we ain't see shit.
As they pulled away, Gene noticed a car parked on the corner that had clearly been waiting. Earlier, he'd seen a man in a blue suit with a bow tie nearby. When the man spotted Gene, he froze, locked eyes with him, then turned and walked off. Gene even flashed his gun, and the man disappeared. Now Gene believes that may have been the shooter scouting the scene. What stands out is the positioning. The shooter's car was already parked exactly where Biggie's vehicle had to pass. The timing was perfect. The angle was perfect. This wasn't random. It was planned. Someone told the shooter where to park, when Biggie would leave, and which car he'd be in. And only a few people knew all that. Right after the shots, Gene and his partner Tone jumped into their car and chased the shooter, desperate to get justice for Biggie.
But here's where things get even more suspicious. Their car had something called a government chip installed in it. This chip prevented the car from going faster than 100 miles per hour. So every time they got close to catching the shooter's car, their vehicle would automatically slow down. The engine would cut back. They'd lose speed. Gene says they could see the shooter's car at the top of the hill. They were close, but by the time they reached the top, the shooter was gone, vanished into the Los Angeles night. Now, ask yourself this. Why would a bodyguard's car have a chip that prevents it from going fast? Bodyguards need to be able to escape danger quickly. They need to be able to chase threats. Having a speed limiter on a bodyguard's car doesn't make any sense, unless someone didn't want that car to be able to chase anyone. unless someone wanted to make sure the shooter got away. Gene believes that government chip wasn't there by accident. It was there to ensure the killer would escape. After everything Gene saw that night, after all the strange behavior, after all the suspicious details, Gene has come to a conclusion, and it's not one he wanted to come to, but the evidence is just too overwhelming.
But here's what made everything even stranger. Gene says their car had a government-installed chip that capped the speed at 100 miles per hour. Every time they got close to the shooter, the engine slowed down. They could see the car ahead, but by the time they reached the hilltop, it vanished into the night. Ask yourself this: why would a bodyguard's car have a speed limiter? Bodyguards are supposed to chase danger, not be held back. A limiter only makes sense if someone wanted to make sure the shooter escaped. After everything Gene saw that night, all the stalling, the positioning, the silence, and now this, he reached a conclusion he never wanted to believe. But to him, the signs were impossible to ignore.
Damn, they shot my man. They got my man. And Puff got him behind Big, and I said to Puff, whatever y'all do, don't let him go to sleep. Don't let him go to sleep. Whatever y'all do, don't let him go to sleep. And Kenny jumped in their car because he said he knew where the hospital was at. And now Tone was driving our car. So Puff said, Kenny, you know where the hospital is? He said, yeah, I know where the hospital is. And Big said, he said, yo, Big, I'm gonna get you to the hospital. Big, I'm gonna get you to the hospital. And Big said, just do it before I close the door.
GeneDeal believes Diddy planned Biggie's murder. Even though Diddy cried at the funeral and released "I'll Be Missing You," Gene thinks it was all an act. According to him, Diddy couldn't stand anyone outshining him. Biggie was rising fast, starting his own production company, and becoming independent. In Diddy's world, that made Biggie a threat. If he couldn't control him, Gene says, Diddy made a decision. Biggie had to go. After Biggie's death, Diddy profited massively. He owned Biggie's music, made millions, and built an empire on his legacy. Biggie's death didn't hurt Diddy, it made him bigger. And now the story gets personal, involving Gene himself.
It came to light for y'all that this dude wanted me dead way before I came to YouTube. Cause I was having meetings with serious dudes in the street and he refused to sit down. So what did he do? He tell his security team. He didn't tell the NYPD officers. He didn't tell the Department of Correction officers. He didn't tell none of the parole officers or anybody he had working for him that was officers. He told street dudes who had did dirt in the street. When y'all see Gene, y'all do him dirty. Because I came here and talked about the character of this dude who wanted me dead. I been knew that. He ain't saying nothing I didn't know. Y'all could find somebody else to play with. That goes to show you what kind of dude this is. Instead of coming to the table to say f***ing Big and Tupac, he said f*** it. This is the kind of character that y'all out here saying, that y'all standing up for.
Years later, GeneDeal discovered something chilling. Diddy allegedly wanted him dead too. Think about that. His own loyal bodyguard, who saved his life multiple times, was now a target. Gene had been dedicated, loyal, and treated Diddy like a brother, yet he became a liability simply because he knew too much. Gene calls it pure evil, maniacal, sociopathic behavior. According to him, this is the real Diddy. Someone who will eliminate anyone he sees as a threat, even those closest to him. Could Diddy really be behind both Tupac and Biggie's deaths? Jealousy and control, or something far darker?